Ah, yes, awesome. Hello, rock and roll. So this is my next. Of course, I can hear my voice again, which is great. I always love it when that happens. Fantastic. Right, yes. Anyway, that will be a recurring joke that will go on for a while. Hello and welcome. Right, this is going to be the next episode of me making a game, a sort of a roguelike card drafting game similar to Slay the Spire, but it's not Slay the Spire. But heavily inspired by Slay the Spire. Now, last time I got a little bit stuck on something, and I was trying to work out where I was to go next with the whole thing. It's one of those kind of little finicky bits of code where I'll show you what I was stuck on, and I'll show you how I fixed it. Which is pretty cool actually. I'm pretty proud of this. I say I'm proud of it. I looked on the internet and I found that out. So, I did another couple of things as well. So let's go maximize on full screen. So the main thing that we achieved last time was getting the cards to bounce out, and now we can highlight each card so you can read them slightly better. It's still cut off at the bottom, which I'm not super happy with. But so the big thing that I was trying to do before was make it so that you can drag cards like I'm doing now. That looks as though it should be really easy. That is not easy whatsoever. That is a very difficult thing to do unless you know exactly what you're doing. When you know what you're doing, it's no problem at all. At the moment, the cards are actually just sticking where you drag them, which I will. That's what one of the things that we're gonna work on today, because I want to make it so that you can drag a card over, and then as you let go, it just moves all the way back to the hand. So how did I do this? Right. So let's go bring up the code. Let me stop this as well. Right, where are we? Scripts, card script. Let's just double click on it. All right. Also, not that this is. I've actually put a cool little I realised last time when I needed to use the bathroom. I kind of left it open on dead air for a couple of minutes, and I was thinking, no, I've got quite a cool little fun way of filling that space. So stay tuned. It'll be great. Anyway, right. So we've got. This is the bit of code, right? So I was dabbling around here because I was trying to remember from other code as to what we actually need to do. So this is the code which we're using so that the card stays with the mouse while you're dragging it. And it is, so this is where kind of like a lot of it doesn't make an awful lot of sense, or it took me a while to work out. So first of all, we've got target vec equals camera.main.screen to world point. Screen to world point. This was the key word that I was trying to get. This is the one. This is the thing that means that it's working out the point where it is on the screen as opposed to its natural x and y coordinate. And we've put in the mouse position. But like you've noticed there that I have put the made the z value of the vector equal to 0. The reason being, and I mean it's kind of annoying, is that it actually works if you don't do this, but the card becomes essentially right in front of the camera, so you can't see it. And so I've got this vector here, which is the exact vector we need, except for the z value, which is at the exact perfect point of the camera, so that you can't see it. So if we turn that to 0, then it should work. And then you just make the card trans of that position. And it's like while the mouse button is being held. So I'll give you a sort of visualization of what happens. So I'm just going to comment this out. And we'll actually even have let me just zoom in a bit. Right, that's fine. 3D. And we don't want to have it on maximum play, so we can kind of just about understand what's going on. Right, so you press play. And yeah, this camera is actually of a Z value of -10, so that everything else can be in front of it. Now, when you don't have a Z value, this is what happens. It literally becomes right in front of where the camera is. So that's why I'm making the Z value to. So if we actually target that particular one, what is this? This one here. And that one, yeah, at the moment, it makes it become the same Z value as the camera, which is not what you want. You want it to be 0, so it goes in front. Anyway, like that's a sort of very brief summary of what I needed to do there, which is great. I've got, oh yeah, I don't need that anymore. Yeah, so anyway, right, now that we've sorted that out, oh, I've still got this, yeah, that was me editing my Boxer Tear game. Wish you should give it a try. Right, so, right, we're here, yeah, so I'm just going to put that back there. Now, I've got multiple things that I'm looking to do today. So number one, I want, when you actually, to draw the card, I want you to, I want it to actually kind of be like it's actually flipped up. So you see the back of it and then it flips around and then you see the front of it. At the moment, it just creates it at the front. And there's different ways we can do that. Like, and I experimented with sort of different ideas, but there's one which may not make an awful lot of sense, but it makes good sense to me. Oh yeah, another useful thing if you're in when you're actually in Microsoft Visual Studio. What's the thing that I'm doing all the coding on? Microsoft Visual Studio. You can press Control M-O and it closes all the functions. So that you can just see, because there's quite a lot going on in just this one card script, and we're about to add some more. So I am going to say flip card size, so public void flip card, open brackets, bool card front. Okay. So the idea is I want it to flip to, I've put a boolean there, so if it's card front, I'm going to put flip card true when I'm calling it, or false. So now it's just a matter of actually doing that, which is going to be surprisingly more difficult, but it'll be fun. It uses these enumerators / coroutines, which is like the best bit. That's just, I love doing one of these. So flip card routine. So, and that one we want. So, actually, first of all, I just always like to just yield return null. That's just so we don't get an error message. I'm going to try and explain what I need to do. It's the, I mean, it looks like it's cheating the system. I'm sure this is how they do everything else. But, right, so resources, prefabs, I've got the card. Let me just put a card in here. It's on 0. So what I'm looking to do, let's go bring this back to 2D. There we go. Okay. So I actually want to flip. Is it the Y? No, that's not the right thing. It's yes. Okay. So the plan is I'm going to rotate this all the way to yeah, so it's going to start off, so this particular one, it's going to start off like this, I'm going to sort of turn it over all the way over to 90. I'm going to do a sort of little algorithm where I turn it all the way over to 90 degrees, and then when it's at that exact point, it's then going to swap to the card front, in which case I'm then going to do this, I think it's something like 270, and then return it back over. So and then make it over like that. That's the plan. But we want to actually, I'm going to do a bit of code to see if I can get that to work, and then and then like probably a bit of trial and error. But that's the overall plan. Oh yeah. Oh, cheers, Kev. I probably need some sort of indicator when I'm getting a message, because it just happens to be when I look over. Anyway, how's it rocking, Kev? Wicked. Right. Anyway, let's do this thing. Okay. Right. So, actually, so I'm going to have a boolean here, which is just going to be card facing front. Yeah. We might not need it, but I'm going to just kind of use that to begin with. So, and the reason I've got this is I don't want it to just be a flip. So you activate it and it flips, because I want you to have control as to what side you're flipping it to. And if it's wanting to flip to the front and it's already at the front, it won't bother. Now that's actually, I tell you what, KO2 fan, hello, you're right. I genuinely have experimented with Animator, and it is actually, it's probably really good. I think it's just I came up with a system, so I've got this big chunky bit of code here, which essentially I've kind of tailored it, so it's doing a lot of what Animator does. But it's more kind of like I can actually know exactly what's happening. But I mean, yes, you're probably right. There is a way of using Animator that would be a lot better. Right, but but we'll do the slightly more long-winded method. Right, so here we go. So card facing front. If card facing front is not equal to card front, then, and we're going to make card facing front equals card front. Right, so rotate to point, yeah. Card trans. So nothing else is rotating, it is just 90.0 F and 0. So yeah, this is one of the little functions that I've made where you can just rotate something to an exact point over a fixed period of time. So let's just say 0.5 seconds sounds fine to me. Yeah, so once it's done that, it's then going to do the next thing. This is why we've got an IEnumerator, so it can do this and then do something else afterwards. So actually, before we do any of the changing the sprites, I want to actually just make a quick check to see if to see if this actually actually works just as far as this. So now. So now, yeah, we're literally, it's sort of turning 90 degrees, and then it's clicking to 270 degrees, which won't actually, you won't notice anything. But that way I can then change the picture. In fact, we've changed that in a sec. And then we just want pretty much this again. In fact, we can almost copy and paste all of this. That's to go to 360. Yeah, like even though technically when it's at 360 degrees, that's the same as being 0. I'd rather just play it safe. Because even though angles can, in many respects, only ever get between 0 and 360, there's ways of it being minus, and this just counters out any concept of there being any, like, it just makes life a lot easier, to be honest. Okay, now we just need a way of activating it. Yeah, at the moment, the actual pictures aren't going to change the same, so it's going to just look like I'm turning the card. And what we can do, we can make it for all of them, so... Oh, we've actually got one, that's why. Okay, void update. Yeah, so this is going to be just me testing to see if it works, to see if the actual overall flipping of the card works. Here's like one big thing a big problem that I've ran into multiple times is where I have all of this these input buttons to test. Actually, why is that not working? Let me have a look. Oh, get key down. Yeah. And like kind of once I'm actually like quite a way through the game, I've got so many of these things and some of them are overlapping. So I kind of want to check this works and then get rid of it. Like I want to, this is purely here to see if this works. So we'll have flip card, true. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, so we're still going to do a bit of editing. Yeah. So let's give this a check. So I had Q to essentially do the same thing, but right, so they're all there now. I press Q. Okay, that actually worked okay. Now if I press Q again, nothing happens because they're effectively at the front now, but if I press W, it's going to go back, and if I press W again, that's why I've done that code, so you can't overdo it. Anyway, what we want to do, that works a bit easier than I thought. Again, I thought there was going to be more of a battle, so we're going to have we can have this as private. No, actually, we don't need an array, I don't think. So private sprite, card back, and private sprite, card front. sprite. Right, and then right, just tidy this up a little bit. So we're just going to get a reference to each of these sprites, so we know which one to swap to. Okay, so we'll save that. We're just going to get the references now. So, where are we? Sprites, card back, copy path. Oh, that's the wrong button. It will forever be known as Cardback 10. No, it's a. It's also when we're flipping, we're going to have to work out a way of getting rid of the actual numbers that are in front. But we'll worry about that in a bit. Right. So we've actually now got access to that. Oh, I think I might have run into something which isn't actually too much of a problem. It'll be more of a problem later, so I'd rather fix it now. We're going to create a folder called cards, card, and then put them in there. Yeah, you want to have as many folders as you can, really. Copy path. Let's change that slightly. In fact, I think it is just simply going like this. Yeah, that's alright. Okay. Right. So now we've got the reference to the back and the front. And this will suddenly make a bit more sense. So at this point here is when we want to actually change the frame. So switch, we're going to do a switch statement, which is card front. Case true. So if it's true, we want to do card SR dot sprite equals card front sprite. So, when you can copy and paste, you got to do it. No, that's a terrible. No, do not use that. That is not a good philosophy. Don't follow that. It would have been better if I actually copied it out properly, but or typed it out properly. But can be lazy sometimes. Cardback sprite. Okay, let's just see if that works. Yeah, I reckon it'll work. I don't even need to test it, but I will. Right, so Q. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not bad, is it? And what I kind of want to do, I don't know how. Yeah. Yeah, so I like that. So what we actually need to do is have the default position to be the other side, which isn't really particularly taxing. I'm just going to go into the card go. And yeah, like I say, this text. Oh yeah, sorry, I probably better explain. I've got it's in the last screen. I've got a slightly different font than the one that I had before. I tried using a font, but this is one which I actually created. Ah, yeah, actually, that is a really good question. You are. Oh, cool. I'm glad. That is a good technical question, by the way. I will explain that. I think when I started coding, I never used switch statements ever. I literally, every time it would be like, if this happens, do this. Else, if this happens, do this. And I then one day I just made this magical switch. Well, yeah, switch change to using switch statements instead of a bunch of if else. And I kind of got addicted to that. So the only time that I'll actually use the if statements is like sort of if it is one particular thing. Whereas, but yes, you are right. Like you don't need to do that at all. I just generally just prefer it. Yeah, but you are right. It is less code if you use just if or else. I personally just prefer the look of it. But yeah, that's a good question actually. Oh, cool, a good technical like coding question. I like it. Right. So what we're going to do, just for the time being, I'm going to swap this just to there. And by default, that one we don't need. So by default we want it to be card, not the card isn't facing the front, that's good. And now I kind of want to make it as you draw them, it then flips the cards. And then we'll worry about the text later. We'll get rid of this. The idea is when it's going to be facing the back, we want to get rid of all this text. But let's have a look. Right. So let's move to card script dot. So this might backfire, but I think the idea is when the cards are being drawn, they're going to be like from back to front as it's moving over. Let's see how this goes. Yeah. It's a little bit slow on the card flipping, but I can fix that. We just make it flip a bit faster. But that was pretty much what I was going for. Let's give that a try. Oh, because it's taken a full second, isn't it? Because it's taken half a second there and half a second there. So now, if we make it just, instead of taking a full second, it takes a quarter of a second. Might look a bit better. Right, let's go. Yeah, that's a bit better. And actually, the more I look at it, I don't really like the other bounce of the other cards moving. I was going to keep that in, but I don't really need to do that. I might just get rid of that. Right, another thing that we need to do. So, bam, bam, bam. We just want to get rid of all this text when we're flipping, which should be fine. But yeah, I just kind of made a conscious decision one day. I was like, I just really like using switch statements for everything. Right. So let's actually. So there's different ways. I could literally just make the text equal nothing, but I would rather just get rid of the like fade it out, make it so the alpha is the alpha of the text is 0, purely because otherwise I'll have to write the text back in and stuff. So let's do this thing. Okay, so. Cartoons, yeah, that's it. So yeah, this is doesn't actually matter. It can be, as long as that last one is 0, then we're kind of sorted. Although that's not exactly what we want. This will be a little bit of a problem down the line if ever we want to actually change the colour of text for whatever reason, because this is always going to default it to the generic white colour, but let's just check it, see if that works. Okay, that's good. And then when we flip it over, yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm just using this. I mean, I will get rid of that this code that flips. Right. So now we want to make it so that I mean, these cards are still pretty big, aren't they? But we'll work that out in a bit. So I want to make it so that when you're holding this card and you let go, it returns back to this spot. Returns back to the correct spot. Yeah, that's what we're going to work on next. Right. So how do we go about doing that? Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to have in the hand script. Actually, no. In the card script, we're going to have a. We can actually have it as a private vector 3, and we're going to have return position vec. Oh yeah, it's disabling the rendering. Yes, I can. I can do. I think because that would actually save processing power as well. You're actually thinking. Literally just doing the equivalent of. Hold on, let me. Yeah. So instead of actually just making the alpha 0, it's kind of going into one of these and just doing the equivalent of just pressing the tick, which just turns it off. You know what? You got me sold on it. I'm going to do that. Yeah, that'll actually save some processing power. Yeah, nice one. Thank you, KO2 fan. Yes. Ah, nice. Yeah, you know what? I think that is actually fine. I think, yeah, that makes actually a lot of sense. I'm still going to keep that commented. Card TMs. Yeah. Dot enabled. Oh yeah, hold on. It's not quite enabled. It's I'm just trying to remember what it is. Oh, do we actually have to? Oh no, it's the mesh renderer. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to give it a quick test to see if that works. But yes, you're completely right. There's like that is definitely a way which I could do that. So with that, oh yeah, I think the only problem is I'm not sure if it still accesses it. But no, let's give it a shot. That's. I want to have another quick look just before I'm suddenly running myself into any problems, right? Yeah, that worked really well. Yeah, seriously, thanks for that. That's actually really useful. Sweet, yeah. So so out of interest, KO2 fan, are you like a game developer? Like, have you made any games? Because there's a lot of sort of technical things here that you actually seem pretty knowledgeable about. It's like that because making it like losing the enabler does actually save some processing power. So that's really cool. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at that at the end of the stream. Oh, that's way cool. Oh. Right. Oh yeah, right. So where were we? Where are we up to? Yeah, like because I think with me, I think I realised how much I liked making games. It was probably about sort of 6-ish, maybe 7 years ago, and I was just like, oh, because I hadn't, I've only actually been into coding for a little while. Well, 6 or 7 years is quite a long time, but I mean, like, as in a way, I wish I'd done it a lot earlier in life. It's just, I just that excitement of actually getting something that actually like works when you're finally like I just love those eureka moments. It's just brilliant. Right. Anyway, so let's go make a return vector for these card scripts. We'll call it return vec, and then we'll have a little and actually I normally just try to fit as much in one line as I can, but it's probably not great. Return vec equals so now we're going to have a sort of a set return vec. Oh yeah, I've got how's that? That's looking pretty good. So in the hand script, let's go create this vec. We'll call it. And it'll be. Right. Now we also want to do the same here as well. So. Yeah. So yeah, like at the moment, I'm just giving it a where the vector should like return to. Yeah. Okay. And first of all, we want to kind of just check that all of that works. So, so for the time being, I'm just going to make this public, so I can have a look, and when it's drawn them, see if they've got the return. Doesn't quite work, does it? Because it's doing the local version. No, that's fine, because that we'll just return it to the local. That's fine. Trying to getting local. The world's like space mixed up with local space is where it gets a bit confusing, but we're just going to respond to the local space, so that shouldn't be a problem. So let's have a look, see if we've actually got them. Because yeah, what I'm testing here is to see if each of these their return vec actually matches up with there. But we've got to make sure that when we return it back to the spot, it's still in the local space of where the hand is. Yeah, that's fine. So, oh. So let's have a look. Flip card, drag card, dragon card, routine. All of that. So yeah, so I don't know actually if this is a good idea, but I'm going to I'm going to actually have a little routine where it actually moves back instead of just clicking back, which is it's probably I will probably find I'll run into more problems later. But why not? This way looks a bit smoother and a bit nicer. So let's give this a shot until we until we find out why it's not working. So. So what we also want to do as well is, to save any confusion, I want to make sure that we can't drag the car unless it's not busy. So, the card, sorry. So, if not busy, then we'll do all of that. Right, okay. Let's have a look. One, two. Yeah. Now, this is... Okay. Yeah, so it just returns back to that spot. Now, do I make an executive choice now and decide these cards are far too big? Because I want it to be possible to have like up to, say, 10 cards in your hand at once. Kind of like Slay the Spire and Hearthstone, but I think 10 is probably a... yeah, so that's pretty good though. So if ever you just like, oh, what do I want to do there? And then, yeah, okay, I like that. So we also want to make it so that you can play the card, and so even though we're actually quite a bit of a chunk in already, we haven't actually even discussed the concept of having a discard pile yet. So before I do that, I think I'm going to make an executive decision now and make the card small. No, we'll worry about that later. So I want to... My next task is so that when you actually play one of these cards, you want to hover it above a certain line, which I might even just create a sort of dummy line there, so that when your mouse is above that line while you're dragging the card, it then maybe shakes a little bit and then... Yeah, sort of shakes a little bit and then goes into the discard pile. And the discard pile will be smaller because it's going to be slightly less relevant. Oh, yay! Oh, hey man, you alright? Oh, wicked, how's it going? Sorry, yes, I don't know if it's actually available yet, but I did a bit of tweaking and I realised that I only had Boxitaire available in the US and the UK. So I've done a little bit of tweaking and it should be available in Germany, but if not, then I'll have to do a bit more tweaking and see what I can do, really. But yeah, it's good to hear from you. How you doing? Right, bam, up, and then, yeah. So I'm just going to create empty. I'm just going to call this bar. Oh no, it's not an empty, is it? So if I have that. Yeah, this is purely just a means to an end. It's going to look better than this. I just want to have a physical bar that I can, that I can have a sort of like when the card goes above there, then you can cast it. Bar, right. Let's just see if that makes sense. Oh, nice. Oh, quality. I actually, again, it's one of those times where I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult than that. Nice. Yeah, let me know. It's one of those, it plays a little bit like Tetris, and there really is a bit of a learning curve to it. What I'm going to do at some point, I'll show you, because you can get like what's called, what I made as an AI mode, or like once you've played it for a while and you've got, and you're doing, like pretty well and you've unlocked some of the achievements, you can get an AI mode and you can see like the computer play it really, really quickly, which is what I'll show off a little bit later. But yeah, like when you're starting off, you can get like say 500 points, and that's actually a pretty good score. But then when you actually get better, like more faster at reacting, it's Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that bar is just a tiny bit too high. It's going to make it... That's -1. Yeah, -1. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm just using this as a sort of reference, and what we'll do, we'll make the order just -10, so it doesn't get in the way of anything at any point. Right. So we probably need a whole new game object called discard pile. So create folder. Yeah, I've got a little sprite that I kind of want to put in. Trying to work out it'll be buddies. Yeah, this is going to be very much a token sprite, just like for the time being. I want to actually make a proper one. Like, the slight problem which I've got is I'm not like super great at when it comes to actually drawing stuff. It's like, but yeah, I use Asseprite, which is probably not ideal. Oh, okay, no, that's actually good to know. I'll definitely bear that in mind. Oh yeah, I tell you what, thank you. That's genuinely really useful advice. The website was it is a Wix website, which is I don't want to directly say it's one of those where kind of like I didn't put an awful lot of time to actually to put it together. But yes, you are completely right. I should actually make that a little bit more easier to click. Yeah, cheers for that. Now I just got to remember I need to set all of this. Have it at 64 as well. Discard pile. And wherever we have the deck, we kind of want it the opposite side. So actually I'll quickly just work out what it is and just do a minus version of whatever the X. So minus 7.5. Oh, I think I can just copy that. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll put it in the discard pile there. Yeah, and we kind of want to make sure when you use it, it maybe shrinks to half the size and just goes sort of neatly on top of this discard pile. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be honest, when it actually comes to creating a website, the reason I chose Wix was because it essentially uses like the least amount of brain power. I was like, oh yeah, I can just drag this, that looks fine. People will get it eventually. But no, you are right. Like, that's partly why I was thinking either navigate through the complicated website or use the or just literally search Boxotair. But yeah, I probably do need to make that slightly more accessible and easier to use. Yeah, cheers. And do we want to make it so that they flip down when it's on the discard pile? I don't know. I just quite like that new flip animation that we've got. That I kind of, but no. It should just go. It should just go face up. Yeah, I realised I realised having coffee during streaming actually does help. Right, we're going to create a new one. Discard pile script. Yeah, we'll get that sorted. Right. Let's actually put it on in here. Here. Right, so our plan is we want to make it, I just want to do a quick dry run. So when a card goes above, when the Y value of the dragging part goes above -1, then this card is going to shrink all the way down and move on to this discard pile. I've just used this as a kind of symbol just so I know where we're going. And we also, instead of actually leaving it there, we want to create it in the code. As I say, I don't even know if it's actually a good design choice, but I always like the idea of it being a completely empty scene and you just create it all as you go. So let's give that a shot. So we've got this here. That's the magic value, 7.5 minus 2.5, and I think I'm just going to make it fade in. I'm not going to do anything particularly special. So let's get that. So we're going to create the card scripts, main game master. Let's actually give this purpose at the moment. So now a younger, more a younger version of me would just be like, well, it's discard pile. We'll just put DP, and I'll always know what that means. I'm gonna be sensible and actually call it discard pile trans, and sprite renderer. Sprite renderer. Sweet. So now we're just getting access to all the stuff that we need, and And I will give it a little summon routine, which really won't be very exciting. It's just going to sort of fade from clear to opaque and bounce a little bit. So what do we need to do that? We probably need a bool to make sure it's busy. So public bool busy. Yeah, so I'm using this classic mover thing, which yeah, so I made it ages ago, but it's just so useful. It's one of those things where I can in this case I'm using it for two different things. I'm using it, one, to fade the picture from clear all the way to opaque, and I'm using it to just give it a little bounce at the same time. So move.instance.fade SR to color. Oh yeah, what I'm going to do, sorry, just to give you the heads up, at some point down the line when I've worked out how, it would it's more as a sort of take it or leave it or something, but this mover script is, I think it would be really useful. I think anyone, because I feel like I've done a lot of groundwork here where lots of useful little things that enable you to essentially move and manipulate transforms or pieces over and change colours and stuff to change the colour of text and sprite renderers, and there is still flaws. I've got a bunch of arrays, whereas on reflection, one day when I can actually do it, it should actually all be lists, so it takes up less space. But I'll do that at some point. And ideally as well, I kind of want to set up a GitHub, so anyone wanting to use it can just get hold of it and copy and paste. Right, fade color to SR. Right, we want SR. Bouncy. What I'll do as well, I'm going to have a private vector3. We'll just call it home vec. This is just going to symbolise. Yeah, and I think we can even set it over here. So what was the magic? Vector 3. It was 7.5f minus 2.5. Kind of want to have that set there so we know where it's going. As I say, this is quite a lot of work, and I think the overall payoff won't actually be that great, but it's fine. I want it to be sort of relatively simple. So yeah, it's going to create it, sort of hopefully bounce, and that's fine. That's all we need for the time being. I just need to make sure we know it's busy. Now, when it comes to making various different things private and public, I always want the busy ball to be public, so you can always know where it is. I haven't got any. I just find that just so much easier. Okay, that seems fine. Sunday routine. Discard pile script equals instantiate discard pile go. Oh, we haven't actually activated it. Yeah, I'll get that, don't worry. Minus 2.5, isn't it? So now we're just getting access to the discard pile script. So yeah, at some point I'm going to have a stream where I actually start making sprites that I'm actually going to fit in to make it look a little bit nicer. But like my overall goal is I want to actually physically make the game, make a game that is playable, and then worry about all the artwork afterwards. So summon. Huh. Yeah, what I could do actually, I could. Just get rid of all that. We don't need to wait. Right, I want to give that a shot. Oh yeah, no. Oh, we almost missed a big thing here. We need to copy this. Otherwise, I think it would try and create everything that we've ever made. No, it would just give us an error message. But that, yeah, it wouldn't have been that bad, but it's fine. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Right. Oh damn! I wasn't actually paying attention. I think it did the thing that I wanted it to do. Right, let's have another look. Right, I'm actually looking over here for the. Yeah, that's fine. Exactly what I want. That's absolutely fine. Right. So our next thing, we want to make it so that when we drag it above y minus that, this is going to get a little bit smaller. Maybe half the size of these cards that they are now, and just put them onto the discard pile. Yeah. Yeah, the difficult thing we'll have is, I mean, it's not difficult, it's going to be fun, but when we've actually got the card script, we want to, once we've actually used it, use the card and put it in the discard pile. That won't be too difficult, but it's sorting out the hand so that it can remove it, which I don't think will be too hard. But first of all, let's see if we can get it into the discard pile. Yeah, I'll still keep this here, but we'll get rid of that eventually. So here is definitely a time where I'm going to use an if statement instead of a switch statement. So if... Oh yeah. What we actually want is... So where we've got the hand script, we've got cards in hand. We want the discard pile to have cards in discard pile. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, now we've got that. So yeah, okay. Public void. Oh yeah, of course. I realised I'm covering part of this. I need to actually keep scrolling up. My big head's in the way. Add card to discard pile. Yeah, that's fine. And what I kind of want to do, again, this it's something which I'll probably take out, but I quite like the idea of the card just doing a sort of full 360 flip really quickly. And then it bouncing into the discard pile. It's something which I'll later regret, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. If Right, so this is basically saying if we're above the minus 1 on the Y scale, then we're gonna add all the discard card part, and then if not, then it's going to return back to the hand. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing it. It's going to be brilliant. Oh yeah, actually. So. Card flipping. Card flipping equals true. Card flipping equals false. So, oh yeah. Yeah. Right, so where are we up to? So, card. What do we actually call it? Make. Yeah, flip card, yeah. False. Yeah. Let's use most of that actually. Yeah, we probably want a reference to the discard pile as well. And yeah, so whenever we're recreating these cards, so a bit earlier I think I might have had a setup. No, maybe not. Okay, all right. We're going to get this changed, but I'll keep this there. That's fine. So it moves to there, and that'll take half a second, and oh yeah, grow to size, that's it. Right, grow to size. And yeah, so we're going to, it's going to go up, it's going to flip around, then it's going to shrink down and move to, let's give that a shot. And move down into the discard pile, and then ideally add it to the discard pile. I think we can actually quite safely, I think we want access to this. Yeah. So for the time being, I'm going to do. I'm going to come up with a system here. I'm going to create a public static discard pile script, which we're going to call instance, and then have instance equals this. This is making the discard pile script and the whole discard pile a what's called a singleton, so we can access it whenever we want. That'll do. So right, where were we? discard trans. Now let's go make it 0.5. So that's half the size of the regular thing. That's fine. And that'll also be 0.5 seconds. Yep, so it moves all the way down. That should work. Yeah, sorry, I do sometimes have these long pauses where I'm just trying to work out exactly how to do this. Oh, yeah, what we also want to do is discard pile script dot instance. Now we can access all of this. We want to add dot instance dot add card to discard pile, and it's going to be this. There's plenty of things I literally can just write the word this, and that will basically tell the discard pile, add this particular version of this card to add this particular card to the discard pile. Yeah, the only thing which I'm slightly concerned about is what's actually happening when we're flipping this card. We're actually making it become busy. It's like becoming busy within already being busy. So the busy will be set to false. And that could cause problems later, because that means if we, like, the idea is I want it so that, but yeah, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It won't be a problem right now. But I'll actually have a little debug here to remind myself later. That I'll just say busy within being busy, which is a problem. That'll be, yeah, I'll have to look into that. So, I mean, sorry, I'll explain. Sorry, I've just said busy within being busy, and that doesn't mean anything to anyone. What I mean is we're starting this dragging card routine. We're dragging it around, and it's... and obviously the card is currently busy while that's happening. But then I am, if we're actually having it above the line and we're releasing it, we're going to flip the card around, which will... oh, you know what? I've got a much better idea. Which will essentially, that will then be busy, and then it will trick to being non-busy. So mid-flip, it's going to become unbusy, and anything that could access it could. So yeah, anyway, that's brilliant. That's fine. I think, yeah, actually, first of all, let's see how this works, and then I'll do a little bit of code to try and fix that. So I realise me tapping actually affects the microphone. I apologise for that. So first of all, I just want to check if it still works. Yeah, it still returns like normal if it's not above there. But then when it is above... Oh yeah, you know what, that's okay. That's actually a good start. I kind of wanted it to move there, but that's okay. Oh, and you can still actually access it there. That's fine. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I like that. What have I done? That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, busy within being busy. Right. Okay, that's pretty good progress. So we're actually going to make it so that it's going to be, as well as being in... where is it? Yeah, and I think another slight problem which I've got is, well, yeah, you don't want to be able to access the card when it's in the discard pile, so I'll change that. So we're actually going to have, again, I think it's going to be another public one for the time being. Public bool, card in hand. And so you can only do, so upon enter, card in hand. Yeah, you technically don't need these curly brackets. You can leave it like that, but I prefer having curly brackets for everything. So that way there's no, yeah, it just gets a bit confusing otherwise. I think that one we can kind of leave because it's, yeah, it's never actually a problem. So if card in hand, do all of that. Sweet. Okay. We also want to make sure that it is a card in hand when it's added. So so we can just affect all of these. So card script dot. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, dot. Before we do any of that, let's make that private. Yeah, yeah. Like if we can make things private, we really should. Yeah, that's fine. So, and script there, dot, set card in hand to true. Let's give that a save, and when we've moved it to the yeah, so when it's actually gone to the discard pile, yeah, I want to fix this. This will look a bit better in a bit. So straight away we want to go set card in hand to false. There we go. Right. So hopefully we won't be able to access it from the discard pile, because the idea is you use it and you can't use it again. Gotten rid of everything, right. Oh, no. Just realised something. I need to set all the cards in hand. Yeah, so we've got because yeah, I want to like this looks like it's more code than is necessary, but this way we're physically setting each card their boolean to the fact that it is in the hand, and so you can only actually access and drag cards that are in your hand. So these are currently in the hand, and we're going to use it, kapow, and then it shrinks, and I can still access it because what have I done? Oh, I just haven't set it. Yeah, don't think so. I just Set card in hand. Okay. Ah, good. I've got a proper. This is what I like. This is part of the thing which I like about coding. When I'm thinking that should have worked, but I don't know why. So let's just make it easy on ourselves. So let's just check that the card in hand boolean is actually getting false. So we're making this public for the time being. So let's just double check and go. Oh yeah, card in hand. They're all card in hand. That's fine. Off. Okay. Oh, I've just paused it. So that's good. And then let go. That's interesting. It just hasn't gone to false, and I've got to work out exactly why that is. Oh no, hold on. So which one is that? That's that one there. Which one's that? That's there. So this one here. Oh, so it did set to false. Let's just try something. So I think part of the work has been done. Point enter, make card in front. Ah, yeah, okay. Right, yeah, so I've just got to work out why this is the case. So ideally, I've only got one use, and it should be if card is in hand. So let me give that another shot. Try and work out. So I think this one here. Right, card is in hand. Card is no longer in hand. Ah, okay. Wonder. Oh, yeah, I know the problem. So I still. Yes, okay, everything's fine. Right, the world is good again. I know. I saw it out, boys. So what's happened is it can still access the. Yeah, it can still access this. Yeah, I know what the problem is. So we just want to make sure that it can't drag, it can't do anything else. So upon exit, if card in hand, do all of that. Yeah, I just haven't used it enough. So it's also, we want to have the drag card. So if busy, if not busy, and oh no, actually, where do we actually use that? That's fine. I'll point it down. Yeah, we want to have it there. If card in hand is over there. Okay, I think we sorted it. And then what I kind of want to do, I want to make sure that the discard pile, it moves in a slightly better place, I guess. Like, because at the moment it kind of looks slightly off screen. And now I'm aware that the games which I'm referring to, both Slay the Spire and Hearthstone, once you've used a card, there isn't really a discard pile, or there's just this orb where it just stores it all, and I might just decide to get rid of it altogether. So now we can't access any of that. Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so yeah, what I kind of want to do, I want to make it yeah, I might maybe just get rid of all that. Maybe actually, yeah, I'll find a good way of getting rid of it. Right, I kind of need to go to the toilet, but what I'm going to do, this is the, I'm actually going to put the Boxer Tear thing on in the background. So, yeah, for the time being, I'm going to just put this music on pause. We can just have that on AI. Right, and so if I just that's obviously not the right one. There we go. So I'm just going to turn myself off. Yeah, enjoy. Have a look at this. This is yeah, this is a game that I'm working on. This is the AI segment of it, and I'll be right back. Right, sweet. Okay, cool. I'm back. Anyway, you're probably thinking that game looks amazing, but yeah, it's free to download on the Google Play Store and the App Store. Yeah, give it a shot. Right, yeah. Sorry, sorry I took so long. I need to get a coffee as well at the same time. So we've got as far as get rid of that for the time being. Just a quick summary. So yeah, we've got as far as creating this and putting it into the discard pile. But I kind of wanted to change how the discard pile looks, because obviously I kind of want it to be on top of this. So what I should do is, yeah, actually there's a much easier way of doing that. Oh, yeah, I see where the problem is. It's because it's still actually technically a child of the hand thing. That's why it's looking a little bit off. So there's multiple ways we can deal with that. So yeah, like I say, the reason that I'm slightly ambivalent, or I'm not super keen on using singletons, is because there's a sort of slippery slope where you just turn everything into a singleton. You use this bit of code here, and like it's not professional. Ideally, I want to get a reference to this discard pile, and I think I'm going to actually do that. It's going to that makes a lot more sense, I think. So, what we should actually do is, for each card, we're going to, where should I put it? I probably should put it about here. We can turn this back into being private. So yeah, for each card, it's actually pretty cold today. Yeah, right. We want to have a hand script. Yeah, we're going to have a reference to both the hand script and the discard pile script. I think that would just be useful. That's better than having all of this singleton stuff. So. There we are. Right. And we're going to have another a function over here, which we'll call setup. Okay. Hand script. Discard pile script. Discard pile script. That's fine. And we want underscore to equal. So yeah, the reason I'm doing this is that means that each card in the script has got access to both where the hand and the discard pile, so it can do so that it just makes everything clearer a bit later. So I don't have to rely rely on just using singletons. So we've always got access to it. So what I can do that now before I forget, I can go over there, get rid of this. Yeah, because if I can avoid using singletons, I will. There we go. Right, so actually in the setup here, right, when we're creating the cards, so at what point are we actually creating the cards? Oh, I see, yeah. So what we want to do is here we go. Right, so we're going to set up. So once we've actually created it, we want to do a card script dot setup and have the hand script and we also want to give it the discard script, which I've realised is actually a bit more difficult. Okay. And what I kind of want to do as well now that we've actually kind of set all that up, I want to just check that each card does have both the hand script and the discard pile script. So to actually do that, I've done a bit of a backhanded method, which I'll fix at some point. But the purpose is we want to give a reference to the hand script and the discard pile script for each one of the cards. And this is a bit ugly because you really don't want to be using a find object, but this is much better than what it was before. So let's just check that we have actually got it. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's fine. In fact, while we're here, let's go actually make this so. Set parent is going to be the underscore discard pile script dot get trans. Brilliant. Okay, and we're actually going to move to point local. That can actually be hopefully just vector 0 now. So it'll actually move its. Well, I'd actually rather do that before. So yeah, so I'll quickly explain everything that I've just done. I've just been talking gibberish for a little while. We're setting each card so that it's got access to both the discard pile and the hand. And when we're using the card, we're then going to set the sort of parent of this card to the discard pile, and then just move and then bounce straight into the discard pile. Yeah, right. Right, let's give it a shot. No error messages, that's always good. Okay, brilliant. And so we can't access or do anything here now, which is what I intended. So if we use that again, then that can use all the cards. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. That is exactly what I was after. Now, if I was actually being a little bit smart, I can actually make it so that they, when they actually get added to the discard pile, they increment down very slightly each time. So, or I could actually give it a slight randomness to where it lands, so it makes it feel a bit more like a discard pile, like in that you're just putting cards down. I can give it a random slight angle, so it really does feel like it's a sort of, you're slamming it down and it's kind of putting down in a random angle. That's one thing that I'm not going to worry about that now, but that's definitely a sort of future project. So next up, we want to make sure that when we've used the card, the rest of the cards get shuffled as to where they should be. Oh yeah, because we haven't actually removed the card from the hand, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So let's have a look at the hand script. So yeah, by the way, sorry, I need to emphasize one thing that is incredibly useful is when you've got a bunch of stuff open like here and you're on this is Microsoft Visual Studios. You can hold Control and press MO, and it closes everything. So it's much easier to see all the information you need. Right, now we're going to do a remove card. So public void remove card. Card script. Card script. I do realise at this point there is quite a sort of slowish process, but I think. But hopefully it will just be sort of satisfying. So I'll slowly make projects. Don't feel as though you need to actually watch it all the way from the beginning. Because but like hopefully as I sort of progress through, we'll see it develop further, and I'll start because I'm start to introduce the actual game mechanics shortly, and I'm going to have a few pictures, a few basic sprites to indicate what's going on. Right, remove card routine. And we want it to be busy. Busy equals false. Fail. I got there eventually. Right. So yes, we want to make it so that once the card's been played, all the other cards get shuffled back into the sort of central-ish position, and it's going to use a lot of the similar code that we've got in the adding card routine. So we don't need to worry about that. So cards in hand dot remove card script. Yeah. And then I think, we can actually use quite a lot of this. It feels a bit lazy. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, we've removed the card, and now we want the rest to shuffle in. Yeah, so the reason we're actually looking to affect all the remaining cards that aren't in here. So yeah, this will again require a bit of trial and error. So we've removed the card. We're now moving all the other cards back into the place that they want to go. Let's see if that works. I have a feeling it's all going to shuffle in the wrong direction, but we'll have a look. Yeah. Or it might create an error message. We'll find out. Because I haven't removed it yet. I didn't actually do the code. So we'll actually do that with... I also haven't actually added it to the other one, which we can do that now. I think set parent there. Add card to discard pile. Oh no, maybe in my head I thought I'd done this, but no, guess not. And yeah, again, what I want to do as well is make this public so I can just have a look, check that it has been added correctly to the discard pile. Oh, I haven't put the music on. Gah! I knew I was missing something. I need my perfect background music. Oh man, that does work. So I want to just check. So ideally in the hand go, we've got one card, which is that one. And in the discard pile, we've got all of these. And also, the actual cards in the discard pile are these 4 over here, which are all these ones. Ah, that worked. I just assumed there's going to be a bit more trial and error. That just works completely fine the first time. Brilliant. I know, it's almost as though I sound disappointed about that. I really thought I was going to be hacking at that for ages. Yeah, cool, sweet. Right, so we're going to have so we've actually got, like, overall, I just want to just check, we've got a pretty good system here. Where we can just return it back there, that's fine. Now, I think it gets a little bit too big when we actually hover over. So I kind of want to make it just a little bit smaller because it feels quite domineering when it's that big. Okay. So, okay, we've actually covered quite a lot so far this session. We've actually, yeah, we're kind of ahead of schedule. I just assumed that this was going to take a bit longer, to be honest. So, the actual, I need to actually kind of give cards a set, like, purpose, like what do they actually do each time, and I'm going to, like, the idea is, when you actually play one of these cards, you're going to, I want to have a little sort of symbol of, like, attack and defense. So some of these cards, there's going to be multiple things, but I want to just have the basic attack and defense thing. So how are we going to do that? Right. Now, is it actually now time to start getting some basic drawings? I think so. I think that's about time. Right. So we've kind of got what we want there. Now I'm going to have a little. I'm going to make 3 buildings. I'm going to make one building which is going to represent your town heart, which is basically like your hit points. But it's going to be called the town heart. So yeah, like, because you're essentially protecting a whole town. We're going to have another building which is going to have attackers, and another one which is defenders. So as far as coding goes, the next little period of time is going to be more devoted to me drawing an Aseprite. I don't know how you're actually supposed to say it. I just read it as it says. But yes, it's going to be using Aseprite, which is absolutely an incredible tool. But this isn't exactly where my strengths lie. I can't really draw super well, but hopefully you might get sort of knowledge as to how to draw Or if you're not very good at drawing, you can actually look and be like, oh yes, cool, this is how you can draw if you're not very good at drawing. So let's go. I think we're going to make it 128 by 128 pixels. I know we could just make it go a little bit easy. No, 128, 128. That sounds good. Right. So I'm always going to set it to Google. So I'm setting this palette to Google just because I think you've just got the best variety of colours. So, Shift S, we're going to save it, we're back. We can have buildings. So what do we want the town heart to look like? I think I do want a big heart or something to come out of it. So, but first of all, let's actually make a sort of generic looking building. Right, I think town heart probably needs to be maybe green. I know you could argue that red is heart, but I think green is more like, kind of gives you the impression that it's kind of like health. I'm going to create another layer. That is not where the doorknob should go. There we go. A bit better. So what I'm probably going to do on the time off stream, I'm going to actually make these sprites look a little bit better. But this is more of a symbolic sprite that we'll use. Oh, that was definitely not what I wanted to do. So we're going to call this going to make oops. That's no. Oh, I think the mistake I made is I accidentally clicked this little lock symbol, which stops me adding to it. Yeah, that's right. That. Nice. Okay. Okay. And oh, actually, that's another thing that I like to do as well. I don't like having thin diagonal lines like this. I actually would rather make them a little bit thicker. There's a really good technique. When you're in Aseprite, if you hold Shift and O, you can essentially make the borders bigger, which I kind of like. I like that look. Yeah. I'll just make this line. I'll just do this one manually. Yeah. I've made the windows thicker. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So what we're going to do now is just have... the idea is I kind of want a picture of a heart just on top of this building that's sort of hovering to give you the impression this is the town heart. Let's go make all these other bits bigger as well. Yeah, that's fine. I wanted to just change the name, so we'll have building symbol. Right, cool. If you hold Shift when you're making a circle, it makes it so that it's always going to be a perfect circle as opposed to an oblong one like that. And I'm just going to do that and just copy and paste. Make a line over like that. Yeah, so I also I like to make it sort of thicker. So we're going to use that Shift O tactic. So hold Shift O, but I want it to just be selected. So I'm just double checking that hasn't affected everything else. No, that's fine. Brilliant. Now I could go into the sort of dithering thing to make it look a little nicer. I think I might just, instead of doing anything too spectacular, I'm just going to have a little, just a tiny little bit of glare. How does that look? I think that's alright, isn't it? Okay. Let's go put it into place. So that's in the centre. Yeah, I think it's fine. So yeah, the idea is that heart, I just want it to kind of hover up and down a little bit. So you've got the symbol. Right, brilliant. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing for the next 3, but if I just press Alt-N. So I think, yeah, the reason that I wanted the town heart thing to be green is because I wanted the attacking one, because I always think, like, your attacking thing is going to be red and your defense is going to be blue. I think that's just because I've played too many computer games. But yeah, so we're going to just do the same. Yeah, we're just going to create an attack and defense one. Right. So the attack one next. So red. That was obviously the intended strategy. Red. Good. And we need a sort of sword to go on top to indicate that that's the attacker. I know technically when you're actually looking to attack, you don't all accumulate into one building to be like, right, we're attacking. But like I say, I'm going to make these sprites a little bit better, but that'll probably be off stream. But I'll see how it goes, really. Yeah, sword. Right. How do you draw a sword again? Let's go make life a little bit easier on ourselves. I have actually drawn some swords from earlier, which I could just steal. No, it won't take me long. Let's go get rid of this so there's no confusion. It's just a bit of a hilt. And let's get rid of that, and then we're going to go... oh yeah, no, that doesn't quite work. Bit rubbish. Let's give that. Yeah, that's fine. We also need a sort of defining line. Go through the centre. Still kind of has this rubbishy look about it. Let's try making this a bit darker. Yeah, I think that's... No, I made the hilt too big. That's where the problem is. Other than that, it's a complete masterpiece. There we go. Right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's all right. Yeah, I'll do it for the time being. And maybe I could even angle it. I think that'll probably look better. Let's see how that goes. Alright, let's go. And eventually I want it to be sort of gently floating up and down, but that's okay. So we've got our heart, our attack, and now we need a defense one. So we're going to go, there we go. So we're going to pick all the, blue is going to be defense, so let's get rid of that. And yeah, obviously for defense we want a big old shield. So, I think that's alright. That was not where I wanted it though. and we'll use this because that might be quite useful. I'm actually going to use the bendy curvy line. So I don't know why I'm torturing myself. I think that looks better actually. Yeah, that's fine. And then just a normal straight line. Now we kind of want another. I like the idea of having a sort of tiny little sort of shield within a shield. That sort of design. So let's go. So we go for that. Better. Yeah, I like that. So. Okay. It's not ideal, but I'll live with that. And then we just want to make it chunky again. Right, how does that look on the rest of the thing? I don't think it needs to be at an angle. I think that's fine. We just want to get rid of that. Then move it up just a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm not about that coffee pretty quick. So, heart, shield. Okay. Yes. Right. Brilliant. So we got all of that. Now I'm going to actually. So I've already pressed Control S to save, but I'm actually going to do Control Shift S, where you can actually save it as something particular, and it's going to be in buildings. Yeah, that's great. In buildings. Now I'm actually going to save it as a PNG. And it's a lot easier if you actually put 3 zeros or 2 zeros when you actually when you're saving, for good reasons which I'll explain a little bit later. Like when you're actually putting it into the game, when you're actually putting it into the Unity project, it's a lot easier to reference if there's zeros. That's fine. Right. Okay. So. Buildings. Right. Let's go. Let's drag them. Just put them in sprites for the time being, but I'll have a new one saying buildings. Right, and what we've got one. Let's go set them all to. First of all, let's all set all these to the right ones. Yeah, it makes it much better to set it to point instead of bilinear, and set the compression to none. Now, I just want to have a little quick visual representation of what it looks like. Oh yeah, that bar is still there. I'm going to leave that in for the time being. Plus, create 2D object, sprite square. And yeah, at some point I'll make the background slightly nicer, but we'll get to there. Right. Town Heart, Geo game objects. This one is going to be attack building. Yeah, the there's a little bit more to it, but the way it's going to differ to like Slay the Spire is the idea is you have a certain number of turns to build up your army, your attack, as much as you can, and then it sort of you then have the attack phase, or the combat phase, I should say, afterwards. So there's going to be a little bit of sort of thinking ahead, thinking, can I afford to make a less army for other things, whatever. Just call it attack building. Attack building. Defense. Okay. Right. And we're going to put a symbolic number on top of all of these to indicate what we're what we're up to. I should have probably done that before we. It doesn't matter. So we're going to create 3D object, 3D text. Now I managed to when I was off stream, like between the last stream, I managed to get a way of getting this font. This is the font which I created. Middle center and alignment center. So I kind of want the Town Heart Life to be. Oh. Ah, no. Okay. Sorry. Something that someone said to me a little while ago was, you can alter the offset Z to move it back either in front or back behind something. And I was like, no, that's rubbish. That won't work. It turns out that guy was completely right. That was not what I meant to do, though. We're first of all going to check this to be 50. And is that going to be too big? Maybe. We'll have a look. We'll see. So I want that to be on top. Yep. Heart text. Alright, I'm just setting everything up. And what I kind of want to do, when the buildings spawn, I want them to sort of squidge a little bit. I want them to sort of bounce a little bit as they're created. Because that'll be part of the creation sequence. That'll be... So, yeah, to put it really, really simply, Control D. I'm going to these numbers are going to represent what your attack, your defense, and your life is. There is the ongoing discussion of whether defense should be spelt with a C or an S, and I still to this day don't know, so I've just decided, you know what, C, it's going to be C, because you can put an S there, but I literally, I haven't worked out the context in which one should be the other way around, but that's fine. Right, 0 and 2. Okay, brilliant. Right, so where are we up to? So now we've created all this, we're actually just going to have prefabs create folder buildings. And so my overall goal, I want to make these cards, when they activate, it's going to add like a certain amount to your attack. So we're adding it as a prefab, so we can... And let's work out exactly where we want them as well. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay. So -5, -3, -1. And here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Scripts, create, folder. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do something quite clever. I'm going to create a generic building script, which will have access to basic things and a basic summon command. But I'm also going to have a, like, there is a particular word for it, but a sort of child of each of the building scripts to activate each individual thing, because part of what's going to make this game exciting is there's going to be more than 3 buildings. Like you can sort of like build your own things which have various different effects. So create building script. So this will still have private. Building trans private sprite renderer. Building SR and text mesh, building text mesh and mesh renderer. probably going quite. This is like this will probably take a little while to actually put together, but that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just in case we want to get hold of this transform, we can. So this, I need to get a component in children, because technically it's not on the main thing, it's in the child part. So get component of children text mesh. And what I also want, I want to have all the buildings just have a little sort of animation where it just kind of looks a bit smoother instead of it just being a static image. I always I've got different techniques which I'll show how I do that later on. Get component children. So yeah, I'm getting access to all that stuff. That's brilliant. And okay. So now we're going to create a town heart script. And this is the bit which I was talking about earlier. So we've got some basic stuff in this building script. But like the town heart is going to have all this stuff and more if we make it a I'll show you what we do. Instead of it being mono behavior, we're actually going to have it as a building script. Sweet. Okay. So all of this script here has got everything in here plus whatever extra we want to put in it. Actually works out what we're going to do, but we are going to so I'll have public void set life total. And we'll have a So life total equals life total. And yes, brilliant. Well reminded me. So we're going to, instead of these being private, they're going to be what's called protected, which means that, because private means specifically only this script can access it. Whereas if I make it protected, it's this script can access it, and also this one, because it's a child of the building script. So this is going to now become protected. So now we can access all of this stuff in here. And we're going to have... buildings, yeah. Equals life total dot to strength. So this is going to set our set the basically the number, the big number on top, to whatever we want to make the life total. And let's go crazy here. We're going to actually make a bit of a summon routine. I haven't worked out exactly how I'm going to do this, but oh yeah, right. And again, this is always going to be. I always like to have a boolean that's public called busy. Oh yeah, sorry. Could the transform not be a property? You might have to clarify what that means. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. When you say a property, is that like, because I've got it as a variable here, and I just, yeah, like all I know is that I can access the transform and everything, because that probably is really useful. Useful stuff, but I'm just not 100% sure what you mean. Oh yeah, by the way, thanks by the way for sticking around. I realised that me actually trying to draw something on AsepRite is probably painful to watch, because you're thinking, he doesn't know how to draw. But that's the beauty with AsepRite. You don't really need to know how to draw to be able to use it. It's a lot more sort of technical. There's no, you don't need an art skill. So yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So in property. Yes, I mean, like, yeah, it's talking about the whole getters and setters. Now, that is actually, to be honest, that's one of those things where I've always been slightly puzzled by it, because for a long period of time I just made every single variable public so I could access it, and I obviously ran into trouble. Like halfway down, at some point I'll actually have a play. Yeah, because I know there's yeah, I do actually. I need to actually look into that, because I remember watching a video in it and thinking, is this just a really complicated way of setting a variable? That's one of those things which I think at the end of the stream I'm actually going to have a little play around and try and understand that. Yeah, purely because I'm like all of the good coders actually do use that system, but it just seems a little bit. It seems like it seems pretty complicated. I'm sure there are some good benefits from it though. Right, building the text. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to make a summon routine, aren't we? Yeah. Public void summon. So what we're going to have, we want a way to like build the, to sort of build it up. But I kind of like the idea of it being like really small and then squidging to be bigger. Oh. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. If it also creates it, if there's a way of, you know, to a certain extent, I'm quite a. Like, yeah, I actually just assumed there was going to be a massive chunk of text and stuff that I'd have to type every time I'm creating a new variable. So would I do that from the building script, or straight in the or in the town heart part? I'm just trying to work out. Because yeah, I mean, I do like, because I think that's the thing that I normally just set it as like sort of get trans and then sort it out from there. So hold on, so got busy. Ah, okay, all right. Let's. I'm in. I'll buy it. I'm intrigued. Right. So transform building. So let me just get rid of that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, that's good. So let's have a look. So does this essentially make you give you access? Yeah. Oh right, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I'm trying to work out where the semicolon goes, to be honest. Does it go at the end? Oh yeah. I know you're probably screaming at the screen, like you're probably screaming at the screen, being like, why can he not put the semicolon in the right place? No, this is really useful. Because essentially all my coding, I kind of learn a lot of the times where it's just like, oh, let's just type it into Uncle Google and then see how we get it there. But yes, I do actually realise that trying to put code into text, trying to explain something, is a lot more difficult than when you're actually on this interface. Like, I'm trying to work out if we're meant to put sort of brackets here. Yeah. What I'll do for the time being, I'm just going to, like, because I do, yeah, that's something which I'm genuinely interested in. Because, yeah, like, yeah, I'll leave it like that. But when which wants to get to be public? Oh, okay, yes, okay, yeah, that's good, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's no error message. So am I right in saying that now we can actually effectively read this from other... Oh! So does that mean that we can actually get access to it from another like script, but we can only actually set or affect it from within the script? Oh, sorry, yes, you've exactly summed that up. Okay. That's actually a lot less code than I thought it would be. Okay, yeah, genuinely, Co2 fan or KO2 fan, thank you. That's absolutely awesome. I really appreciate that. I for the time being, I mean, at some point I'll actually go over and so yeah, like, yeah, I'm going to actually, yeah, right, that's absolutely brilliant. I really appreciate that. Right, okay, anyway, I won't dawdle too long. I'm going to go to the next bit. I'm going to create a building. So I want it to be small and then it to kind of sort of bounce and get bigger. Because I've learnt a sort of way of bouncing something into size. Oh yeah, no, oh thank you, man. That's really good. Genuinely all the best. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Like, yes, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I'll check out your website as well a little bit later. Yeah, awesome. Sweet. So what we're going to do, this is the summon routine. It's going to start off like really small, and then it's going to bounce and get bigger. Sorry, that's what I've said. I just haven't actually implemented it yet. Yeah, so I made this, I called it point to size squidge, which basically it means it grows to a particular size but then turns into an odd thing halfway through. So, see how it goes. Target Vec. Actually, you know what? I could use that. I just want to use the tradition one. Kind of changed my mind now. Right. So yeah, I've got this function which where you have a transform, or yeah, you have the scale, and it starts it from small. And then it grows to a particular size, but kind of it also does a bit of kind of lerping where it'll actually, you know, kind of like get a little bit bigger. It will kind of like properly bounce into size. So let's give that a shot. Yeah, that's good. Town Heart. We're going to set the life total. Yeah. Okay, right, where are we up to? So we've actually got this. We're going to just worry about the Town Heart, and if this works all right, we'll do something similar for the others. So we're actually going to delete that as well. But I think -5/1 seems like a good place to make it. So where we've got this main game master, this is the thing that's going to create all the stuff. So right at the top here, we'll have a little side section for buildings, because we're going to have multiple buildings. Public game object, Town Heart object, public Town Heart script, yep, okay, so I think we'll have it yeah, after it's created the discard pile, we're then going to create the Town Heart thing. Nope, not that. Town Heart game mode equals resources. I haven't actually put the script on yet, but I will do that. So So we're into the town heart. That's good. And just so that I know that it's setting it, because I do want, I think, yeah, it's fine. Well, yeah, because we want to set it to 50, but I'll start it at 0 so I know that it has set properly. Let's go get the resources. Okay. So, underscore town heart script equals instantiate town heart go. I probably should be sort of leant back slightly because I think my back's going to begin hurting after a while, but see how it goes. Town heart go. We want to create it. What did we decide? -5, 1, didn't we? Right. New vector 3. -5.4 f, comma f, and don't need to worry about there. That's fine. Identity. Also, at some point, I want to have like some sort of script, which is like I'm going to call like the building master that keeps track of all of the buildings that we got. So first of all, we'll set the town heart script. Set life total to 50. This will obviously, I'm using that as a sort of benchmark. I don't know, because I want the ability for you to sort of have, like, you can actually grow it so that you have a higher maximum life total, as well as, yes, I like that idea. But I'm just setting it to 50 for the time being. Dot summon. I realise I've just spent the last half an hour, and the payoff is just going to be seeing a little town just go blink. If we're lucky. That is not what I wanted to do. So we've got access there, got all that there. Let's see if this works. I think as I have sort of progressed further and learnt more about coding, it seems to be less often that we just get attacked by a bunch of error messages. It does happen, but it's just quite nice. So what we're hoping to happen is for the... Anyway, let's go find out. Let's see if it does the thing that we want it to do. So we're creating the thing. Yeah. Sweet. And... yeah. Bam. Alright, very nice. Okay. We're going to do something similar to for the defense and the attack building. So the key thing is we're going to make the parent a building script. So one thing that took me quite a while to actually sort of get was in the building script, it's got mono behavior. Now this is crucial to getting anything to work in Unity. This is like an inbuilt Unity thing which enables you to have the awake function, the summon function, the awake, the start, and the update function, and loads of other really useful stuff. And I did think for a brief moment that if I did this and just had that as had the building script as its parent, it would lose the mono behavior, but that's not the case. It has everything that's in building script, including the mono behavior. Because I think for a while I was getting loads of error messages because I thought, oh, it needs the mono behavior as well, but it doesn't. It's fine. It's already got the building script which has the mono behavior. So we're going to have attack total. How did I set it up? So we can actually just kind of see. So kind of what I want to do when you actually say, increase the attack mid combat, I want it to kind of like sort of bounce up. I want the attack number to sort of pulsate a little bit as it goes up. So life total, attack total. Oh, actually, what I should have done is go, and then now another thing. If you right mouse button and rename, it will rename everything there. So. Yep, rename. Yep, and we also want to have another function that's called like add attack. Attack to add. So obviously I could just have something as simple as attack to add plus equals. Actually, yeah, but you know what? Let's not try and make anything too complicated for the time being. Attack to attack total plus equals attack to add set attack total to when you use certain words over and over that you just think, oh, that looks weird. It's like I've just used the word attack about 20 times and I was like, wow. Anyway, right, okay, set attack total to yeah, that's fine. And let's go do something which I'm probably going to regret doing. Let's see how this works. There's something else that I kind of want to do. I want to actually just look at the transform position of the text, because I want when it updates for it to sort of pulsate. So I'm going to actually use KO2 fans' advice, because basically what I've done here I can essentially do for all of this and it seems to be fine. It's actually really useful. I genuinely thought it was a lot more complicated than this, but that's brilliant. Yeah, so we can actually should be able to. I want to set all of this similar to that. So yeah, if ever this game does get somewhere, if ever I'm able to actually do much, obviously this will still take a while to do to make this game. But if it does go anywhere, I will be. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I mention you in the credits though, because. Yeah. Right, sorry, I've done all of that. Yeah, so building text trans. I like that because that means that we can access this without actually changing anything. That is just absolute gold dust. That's brilliant. Right. Oh yeah, this is where it gets a bit confusing. So what I want to do, I want to set a new transform to this building text trans. So this is going to be the transform of the actual text itself. So there's the way which we need to do that is we need to access all of the transform components, where there's two. But this only actually gets you an array of stuff. So like at the moment I'm setting one thing to multiple things, and we need to specifically reference number one. So now we've got access to that. Add attack. Add attack routine. And we just want to building text trans, yeah. So hopefully, when we do actually eventually add attack, it will sort of pulsate, and then the number will become bigger. Target vec is going to be still vector 1. It's still going to remain the same size, and I just want that to be just 0.25. Decimal off first now. Yeah, right, and then at the moment I'm not going to change any of the busy settings on this for the time being. In fact, that instance. Yeah, if ever, because like I say, I've kind of, in a way, I've sort of cheated at the beginning of this, being like, oh right, I'm stealing code from another project. But if ever you needed any help as to like how this is working and how you can utilize it, I will always be happy to explain it. But to sum up as quickly as possible, what I'm doing is I'm creating an integer which so whenever we're like boinking something to size or doing anything, it's returning a number, right? And then that number is set to a particular boolean within here that is going to remain true until the whole thing has been done, which takes time to take is going to be 0.25 seconds, and then it'll become false. So I've set here, it's going to remain true, and basically I'm telling in the routine, I'm telling it to yield return null, which is basically saying do absolutely nothing in this time until this whole thing has been done, and then you can progress to the next bit. Now, let's just have a public bool bouncing text. Bouncing text. This will probably be useful for later. I'd rather have it here than not need it. And I think the best way of doing this is yeah, so like the reason I've kind of had it like this way is if for whatever reason you're adding multiple bits of attack in a short period of time, it won't continuously try to bounce, because it's going to give us problems if the text is trying to do multiple things at once with its scale. So I want to make sure that, so if it was to loads of to add up, it would still pulsate, but you can't kind of pulsate whilst it's pulsating. Anyway, well, I'll explain that. Right. Yeah. Void update. Let's just where is he going now? QW. I'm just going to work my way through the keyboard from left to right as I do all of this. So void update if input dot get key down open brackets key code dot e. Then we're going to add attack. Let's just say 5. Okay, now we've still got a bit of work because we've got to make sure we actually create the town, which will be back in this one. So buildings. I don't think I've spelt building correct like the first time at all. I think so I can type very quickly, but I don't actually type accurately. There we go. Tab building script. All right, we're going to do some similar stuff there. Yeah, we actually don't need to have all this space in between. Yeah. I like to sort of keep a space in between each clump because we're doing one segment of things here, so I keep it together and then I'll make another space. So attack building go equals resources dot I'll eventually put this on YouTube, so when it does go onto YouTube and you've got questions, then like feel free to ask, because there are a few things which, like, it took me a long time to get my head around how this resources works, but it's so vital when you're actually trying to make a game seriously. Like, using this resource.loadGame object is so useful, but part of the thing that you probably need to know is you must, right at the beginning, make a folder that says resources, and it's spelled exactly that way. So with a capital R and it's got an S at the end. So it's not resource. Nothing will happen. It has to be. And no one really made it. It took me a while to actually get my head around that. So yes, so it says resources. Anyway, and attack building. There we go. So copy path. We're going to do text very similar to this. I'm tempted to just copy and paste it. No, I'm going to do it properly. Attack building script equals instantiate. Because yeah, sometimes I just copy and paste and then just change the words, but change some of the words around. But I think it's probably better that I do it properly. Attack building go. New vector. It's going to be -3. Point not F. Yeah, so we're just setting it originally, setting the original attack total to 0, and so the reason that they've both got the summon, they've both got this summon thing, is because it's in the building script. So this is like the master, the king, the daddy of the scripts that all of these are going to have. So like if I was to, I wouldn't be able to for example have attack building script dot set life total, because that's only in the Town Heart script. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. I haven't actually saved it for a while. So we've created that, and we've got an error message. Yay! It's been too long since I've had an error message. Right, let's see where the problem lies. Right, why is that not setting the attack total? Oh yes, yeah, I know exactly why that is the case. Because we haven't actually put the script on the thing. Oh man, I was hoping for a proper caper. You know, I love those ones where you're kind of staring at the code for like 3 hours, just trying to be like, why isn't that working? Nope, already worked it out. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it's like Sherlock Holmes. You're not needed. It's pretty easy. Sorry, I that comes across incredibly arrogant, as if like I'm not at all. Right. Okay, that worked. Now we've got all of this. That's brilliant. Now I'm going to press E and hope that my goal is this sort of bounces up and like adds an extra 5. Yes. Sweet. There we go. And yeah, I don't know if you noticed, I'm pressing. If I press it twice quickly, it will still only bounce once, because it won't be able to bounce whilst it's already sort of bouncing. There we go. Right. So now we kind of want one of these cards to activate and use its ability, which like adds some attack. So yeah, the overall sort of layout, the way the game's going to work is there's going to be an enemy that's going to be approaching in say 3 turns, and what you want to do is you want to build up your attack and defense so that you can combat the enemy, but it's gonna so it's basically you've got 3 turns of preparation, which will involve these card drafting systems, and so that you're ready. But like as you get further in, just like with Slay the Spire, you're going to get cards which are sort of better, and you can upgrade cards. Is what my plan is. But yeah, at the moment, it's not doing. Yeah, as I say, I think these cards are just a little bit too big. Yeah, but that's all good. And what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to make the defense building, and then I'm probably going to end the stream there. Like so, yeah. I'm gonna, I will quickly make this though, because I've got the right mindset to defense building script. Now this shouldn't take quite as long, because a large segment of it. See, now whenever you create a script, it's as if Unity is thinking, right, oh, you're creating a script, right, let's bring you into the script menu without opening the script that you've just made. Which is fine. It's fine. I mean, as far as annoying things go, there's much worse. Now I am going to be a bit lazy. Because for the time being, a lot of this, I just need to change some of the words. Yeah. I'm just gonna, like I said, this is a little bit of a lazy cop out, but yeah, it just takes a bit of time. Yeah. Like the reason, like there are going to be different ways that I'm going to manipulate this, so I do want to. I'm very conscious of what I am actually changing here, even though it looks like I'm just copying and pasting and changing stuff. There is, yeah. Let's go make that. We'll slowly work our way. Let's go make that just to check. Let's say 2. So now we just need to add it over here. He's going for it. He is going through full read here. So attack. Cool. Let's add that first. And we want that path over there. And at the moment as well, what we've actually got all of the like defense total and attack total. They're stored in these scripts, but I do want to have one sort of master script that keeps track of everything at some point down the line. Okay. Now, script. Oh, yeah, I know what I've done. I know where I've... That's on me. Yeah, that is the obviously the difficult part of when you're like sort of just copying and pasting a big chunk of code. Oh, we probably want that slightly further right. That looks good. You have got to just be a little bit cautious that you're not that you haven't left the wrong bit in, because it's probably actually more effort to copy and paste and then filter through. But it definitely feels, yeah. But sometimes I will just do that. Right, so in an ideal world, so before I even press play, let's see if, first of all, any error messages. Right, no error messages. Right, good start. So what we're hoping to happen at the end of here, we're going to create the deck, then create the trash, then we're going to create the 3 buildings, in which it will say 50, because that's your life, your attack is 0 and defense is 0, and then deal out the cards. And then we want to see if we can affect the defense building. So let's have a look. That's good. Right, and now, so we already know that goes up, and that goes up as well. Okay. Right, fantastic. Right. So I've actually made quite a bit of progress today, I think. I'm pretty happy with that. What we're looking to do maybe next episode, I guess, we're going to actually get a variety of the cards, because at the moment we've just got a generic card script, but I want to have individual like functions for each of these cards. So what we're probably going to do, first of all, we'll have our mana like crystals. I say mana crystals, but I mean town coins, I guess. I might just call them mana crystals for the time being. But we'll have, the idea is you're going to get 5 each turn, and you're going to make a sort of decision as to what ones. So I want to like use a card that will say use, say, 2 mana crystals, and then have its effect. Because I've done all the animations to get it to work, but at the moment I haven't actually made the cards actually do anything substantial at the moment, which I'm going to work on. Right. Anyway, so that's that's all the exciting stuff you got to look forward to next time on Game Dev and Code. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you guys later. Bam. Alright. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. I've got to work out how to actually raid at some point, because I'd probably find someone to raid, but I don't 100% know how. Anyway, thank you very much. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.